Hi everyone, this is Kelsey Jones, Executive Editor at Search Engine Journal, and I'm joined here today by Mindy Weinstein of Bruce Clay. Mindy, thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me today, Kelsey.
I know we wanted to talk about one of your recent stories on SEJ that got a lot of shares and traffic about millennial marketing.
Right.
I know that's something that some people talk about, but not a lot. But millennials, it's really such a wide age range. I think it's, 21 to 35, right?
It's a huge range. It is. So, I mean, you have the younger millennials, and then you have the ones that are older, getting married, have kids. It's definitely a different demographic in a way.
So what are some things that are different with millennial marketing versus marketing to other age groups?
So it was really interesting when I did that article. I had some things in mind that I just know from experience for millennials, but I went ahead and I analyzed all the different brands, and there was some commonalities for the things that seemed to work the most with millennials, and one of them was letting them be engaged. So let them be a part of the social media campaign, let them get involved, let them share, let them post videos. The other thing that really stuck with me, and it's something that I've actually been preaching ever since, is millennials want to be involved with a cause. So for marketing purposes, one, I think any brand should get behind a cause, whatever that might be. And millennials want that. They also want to feel like they're contributing to society. So it's a win-win for everybody. So that was a big one that I thought was just fantastic for millennials.
I know one brand you had mentioned was Chipotle. And so they do an awesome job with kind of being known for sourcing their meat responsibly. And that's really important, I think, to millennials now. And then they also have done a lot of really cool short films.
I love their example. So they did a whole mini series of Farmed and Dangerous.
Yeah.
So, it's more of a comedy, but it really showed what they were all about. And it was, the farmer who's growing things the right way up against the big guys,
the big evil corporation.
Big evil corporation. But it just showed that they understood who their market was, and that was millennials. And again, that's something that can be shared. People loved it. They watched it. They talked about it. So that was a really successful campaign.
How do you think millennials use social media versus older age groups? Do you think that they're on, I know that millennials are really active on Snapchat and Instagram. So if you're targeting millennials, should you focus on those active channels over, Twitter or Facebook?
So you have to know where they're at. And because millennials is such a big, like we said, a big range, some of the older millennials, they're still going to be on Facebook, they're still going to be on Twitter. But the younger ones, they're on Tumblr, they're on Snapchat, they're on Instagram. So you have to be where they're at. And one thing, like AT&T was one of the examples that I gave in that article, because I loved what they did. So AT&T, they were on Tumblr, and they were trying to reach the millennial generation. And they just had one simple picture that they posted, and it was a text. And it said, "When you figure things out, call me." I don't know if that's the exact quote, but it was around there. But for a millennial, everyone knows it speaks to you. You know exactly what that is.
The context of it.
Right. And so I thought AT&T totally got it right. And they went to Tumblr. So you have to know where your audience is at. And since it's such a big group, you got to figure out if you're going after the older millennials. Like I said, some of the traditional Facebook, all those are still good.
I think one thing that I always worry about for companies is that they come across as not genuine or cheesy, or that they're trying to. And I think that's really easy to mess up. It's hard to make sure that it comes across as genuine.
Right. No, I agree. It's definitely not an easy thing. It's easy for us to say, hey, go out there, understand the millennial audience and share, but it's different when you're the brand and you're like, hey, what does that look like?
Yeah.
But I think if you understand what you're about, what your brand's about, and who your customers are, it's going to take some brainstorming and some thought into it, but you can come up with something that's going to be catchy. And that's the thing with millennials. They're not going to just share, social posts just for the sake of it. It has to be something that they feel like they're involved in and they care about. So, and obviously videos is a huge thing too with millennials. Yeah,
like Periscope and Instagram videos now. Vine. Vine's really huge.
There's so many.
I've tried to use it. I feel, it's fine, but some of the stuff on Vine, I have no idea what I'm doing. So it's hard. I know another brand, you might have mentioned them in your post, was Taco Bell. I think they do an amazing job.
I didn't mention Taco Bell. There were so many, so I was trying to narrow it down to 10, but Taco Bell is definitely a good one.
Yeah, they do. Their Snapchat stuff is really good. I think they have an app now where you can order Taco Bell to just pick up.
I saw that. Yes, that's a new thing that they've been doing. But that's the kind of thing, if you know your audience, you know that that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're looking for a way to order something online and just go
Right.
pick it up. They want easy as,
Easy.
yeah.
Convenience.
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola was another one. And what they did, there was more on a personal level. So the Share a Coke campaign.
With the names.
The names. And the thing about that is they wanted to make sure that they were using the younger generation's names, the most common names in that generation. And that's the thing, who doesn't like their name, right? That's your
Yeah.
favorite word. It's everyone's favorite word. So I thought that was brilliant, because then that got millennials to send Coke bottles to their friends, because you could order them also
That'd
online.
be so hard to not take a picture once you
I know,
finally found
right.
one with your name.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
I
Well,
never have.
So apparently my husband did buy us at the pharmacy and didn't buy it.
What?
I know. So now that is on record. That's he did
Man,
not
he
buy
has a
it,
lot of
and
making
I
up
could
to
not find it again. So
I know. I saw one time. I saw in Walmart they had a huge bin, and people were sifting through the bins
Right.
trying to find. So yeah, they really hit it out of the park
They
with that
did.
one for sure.
So there's lots of examples of brands that figured it out, and it is just knowing not just that they're millennial, but what does your group of millennials care about?
So to kind of wrap everything up, what are some tips you would give to brands or companies that want to start getting into the millennial marketing but don't really know even how to start?
Well, start with knowing where your millennials are. So maybe, like we talked about already, maybe it's not the big four social networks. Maybe
Yeah.
it's some of the other ones. So go to the right place, because we all only have so much time and resources to
Yeah.
put towards it. So know where they are. That's the first thing. Get the messaging right. So get it to be something that's going to connect with them. And the cause. Like, I seriously love that one. That's one of my favorite tips, is get behind a cause and let millennials get behind your cause too. Show them what your brand's about. It's a story.
Yeah.
Allow them to live the story with you.
Good tips. Well, Mindy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, this is Mindy Weinstein of Bruce Clay Inc. and Kelsey Jones with Search Engine Journal. This is Kelsey Jones, Executive Editor of Search Engine Journal, and I'm here today with Guy Kawasaki, Chief Evangelist of Canva. Guy, thanks so much for joining us. I know you did a keynote today at PubCon about personal branding and social media.
Conferences I attended, the speakers were fantastic. The weather here has been amazing. I mean, this location, the hotel.
The thing I'm really liking about the SEJ Summit is the 3 takeaways structure.
Yes.
I'm leaving with way more.
I also like the single session format for conferences.
I agreed to be a speaker here because I think above all else, the quality of people who attend the meeting, something to be said about the fact that you can't just pay to come here. It's by invitation only.
What I've really liked about the speakers is that it's been very well-rounded. We focused on content generation ideas.